Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Facebook Live today. And what a crowd we have with us, users from all over the world. I see Diane from Vancouver, and she says, good morning. Good morning to you, Diane. Thank you for joining us. And we have Joanne from Ontario, Canada. A lot of Canadians, I see. We have Lori from Central Illinois, close to where our guest is joining us from, actually. Ophelia from Texas. LaShawn from Michigan, a lot of users that are joining us, and whether it's your first time or you're a regular viewer of our Facebook Lives, we're so glad to have you with us. So thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We've been doing these Facebook Live sessions for a few months now, bringing you some experts in the field of genealogy, of DNA, MyHeritage tools and features, some of our own experts from the company, and we love doing these sessions. We've had such great responses from everyone that they're really enjoying it. So please, if you're watching today, let us know what you think, and if you think there's a topic that we haven't covered, we would love to come up with new things to bring to you. So please do let us know. And before I get to today's session, I just want to let you know about a few things that we have going on here at MyHeritage, as we normally do. So we have a fantastic DNA sale here at MyHeritage. We'll put a link in the comment section. Please do take a look at it if you are in the market for DNA tests for you, for your family members. Also, as the summer ends, we get to start thinking about the holidays. So it's a fantastic gift if you're one of those early planners who's already looking forward. Now's the time. In addition, we have an amazing campaign going on here at MyHeritage where we are offering our two fantastic photo tools, and that is the MyHeritage Photo Enhancer as well as MyHeritage in Color, and they are unlimited and for free until September 9th. So normally they are capped at 10 tries per tool. This is a fantastic opportunity. So go and take out those old photo albums, go to all your family members and scan in all their photos as well, and try the enhancer and MyHeritage in Color and see what type of results you come up with. In addition to these free tools, we also have a competition going on that anyone who uploads a photo that was enhanced or colorized or both and posts them to their social media channel using the hashtag enhanced and colorized will be entered in our draw, and we'll be giving away 3 MyHeritage complete subscriptions. So we'll put a link to the blog post about that in the comment section. It's also a great way to share your photos that you've enhanced and colorized and show everyone what a difference it made in your photo. For today's session, we will be giving away a MyHeritage Complete Plan, and the Complete Plan will also give you unlimited access for a whole year to the MyHeritage photo tools, as well as unlimited family tree size and access to all of our 12.5 billion historical records at MyHeritage. And in order to enter the draw, for the Complete Plan, all that you have to do is leave a comment for us in today's live. Tell us your success using MyHeritage tools, especially our photo tools. We'd love to hear about that, because today's session will be about that. Tell us about any discoveries that you've made with MyHeritage, or leave a question for our speaker. That would also be great. So we hope to hear from you, and at the end of the question session, we will be choosing one winner for today's MyHeritage Complete Plan. And now on to today's topic of the day. We have Thomas MacEntee, who is really a genealogy rock star. We love having him with us to speak here at our Facebook Lives. It's not his first time, and we hope it won't be his last. And today he's speaking about using MyHeritage photo tools to create family keepsakes. If you don't know Thomas MacEntee, he is a genealogist that specializes in using technology, social media, to improve genealogical research. He is the founder of Genealogist as well as High Definition Genealogy, and we'll be putting links to his site in the comment section as well. So it seems like we're putting a lot of links in the comments section today. So please do check that out. And if you miss them while you're watching, that's okay. You'll be able to get back to them later, as well as today's session, just before we start, to let you all know that if you miss any of it, or if you'd like to go back and rewatch it, it'll be available under the videos section of the MyHeritage Facebook page. So it's always available there, as well as all of our previous sessions. So now let me introduce Thomas. I know he's waiting to get in there and see us all. Hi, Thomas. How are you?
Hey, good. How are you?
Good. We're so glad to have you with us today.
Yeah, I'm really happy about this. You know, believe it or not, it's August and I'm already thinking about the holidays. That's the way my crazy mind works. And, you know, this is a really good way to get inspired on some of these photo projects. So.
Fantastic. So you're one of those early planners that I was talking about.
Well, you have to. With some of these things, it takes time. It's not like you can just say, you know, I'm going to make this the night before, you know, Hanukkah starts or something, and then you're throwing anything together. No, these take planning, because you'll see the projects, Esther, they tell the story behind the photo. That's really what my goal is. Because very often at my house, friends will come over and they'll say, well, what ancestor is this? Who is that? And it's sometimes you can do a photo display that has more in it than just the photo.
Amazing. Well, I'm really excited about this one. I love craft and I love genealogy, so take it away.
Okay, great. And if you would just make sure that my slides are there, and everyone should be able to see them, correct? Great.
Yes, everyone can see them now.
Okay, cool. Thank you. All right. So photo tool came out. And if more and more people are using these, I want them to understand what they can do with a finished scanned product. And what we're doing is we're talking about tactile things today, folks. We're not talking about digital scrapbooking. There's really more of a trend here, at least in the United States, towards things that are tactile, things that you can hold, things that you can look at that you don't need to go online for. So this presentation honors that. So the power of family photos, I'm going to try and say that slower, the power of family photos. Really important to me. This is a photo of my grandmother here, Anna Henneberg, and this is my mother here. These are all 8 girls. They were all born in the 30s and 40s in New York and Jersey City, New Jersey. It has been enhanced, and you can see that by this little symbol down here in the lower left corner. We'll talk a little bit about the enhancement tool and the colorize tool and its use in genealogy research. But I cannot believe the details here. It is absolutely amazing. So now it didn't get rid of wrinkles and everything, so make sure you know it's not totally a magic button, but the thing is, this gives me something to start with for a family photo project. And the other one is, you know, if you've ever been at a loss for what to get your family members when it comes to gifts, these are things that really they really touch people. They really like the way these things work when you give them. I mean, they're just amazing gifts. So you've got to start by scanning your family photos. And then what you're going to do is use the MyHeritage photo tools to improve those scanned photos. I mean, you can scan at a high DPI, you can have the best scanner, but depending on the original, you are going to have to use some of these tools. And then you're going to create a variety of items inspired by these craft projects that I'm going to describe, some of which I've done myself, some of which I'm looking at from afar and I really want to do, and I think I'm going to do them this fall. It is August. It's never too soon to start planning these things, and especially if you've got an anniversary coming up for a couple, or if you've got a birthday coming up for someone. So it's not just the year-end holidays. This is another photo that I ran through. This is me. This is me in March of 1963. I'm about all of 3 months old, and this is my mother, Jacqueline Austin MacEntee. Now, this was, and you notice down here in the lower left-hand corner, the palette tells you that it was colorized and the magic wand tells you it was enhanced. So I did both. I know it's a little bit weird over here on the left, but you know why that happens? This is really not a good photo to start with. But I love this. This basically, I turned this into a gift item. I was showing off to Talia yesterday, and it's right here. So basically what I did is I wrote a poem. My mother had Alzheimer's, early Alzheimer's at age 59. And I took care of her for 15 years. And what was important is that more and more of these keepsakes were important to her to remember her 7 sisters, her 4 brothers. There were 12 kids. And so to me, it's not just a pretty display on the wall. These family photo keepsakes were really, really important in terms of bringing back memories, and so she could recognize more and more things over the 15-year period. And this is simple. This was just a gold frame. I took a printed photocopy, and then I had written the poem, but I just, basically put it on there with a little bit of glue and mounted it. And so these don't have to be complicated projects. That's what I want you to know. Let's start with the photo digitization best practices. I know you think that you might think that you know how to scan, but to be honest, I made some of these mistakes when I first started out. I always look for photos that have good high impact. They have a good balance of darks and lights, especially if I have duplicates of the same photo or variations. I was trying to pick the best one there. Set up your scanner, and I'm looking over here to my left. I have a new all-in-one printer with a scanner. You want a high resolution. It should be 300 DPI, which means dots per inch, or 600 DPI. 300 is a minimum for images. 600 is preferred. Just so you know, the higher the DPI, the longer the scan takes, and the bigger the file will be, the digital file. I always clean my scanner. I have a microfiber cloth. I don't use Windex, alcohol, anything like that. I always read the instructions for the manufacturer. You want to get rid of everything so you have a good scan. Also, make sure that the photo is in contact with the scanning surface. Believe it or not, a lot of these older photos, especially the one I showed you with all 8 women in my mother's family, it's kind of bent. So it may be that you have to put a piece of cardboard down or something on it so that it weighs it down. You also don't want the photo to move. You don't want to move the photo while it's scanning. Keep the photo lined up with the edges. I wish I had an image for this, but usually most scanners in the either lower left-hand corner, lower right-hand corner, they have a little set of arrows, and that tells you that's where the corner of the photo should go. Don't just lay it on the flatbed scanner and have it misaligned, because then you're going to spend time editing that photo, trying to line it up later on. Also, this is my rule. When I scan at 600 DPI. I save it as an original photo, and that's usually as a TIFF format, TIFF, which is a really high resolution. And then I create a JPEG off of that. And that is what I work with. There's a reason for this craziness. This way, if I edit the JPEG and maybe I overcrop, or I'm working with some other feature and I make a mistake, I always have the original to go back to. I just go find it, create a new JPEG, and then I'm on my way. Photoshop Elements or similar products, those, just so you know, those are good for resizing, for getting rid of red eye and scratches. This is not meant to be a replacement for MyHeritage tools, which I love, but there are certain things that I can do in terms of just getting it to the point before I put it through the MyHeritage tools. Also, back up your scans and photos and documents. Why are you spending time on this if you're not going to back it up? It's as precious as the original. With everything that's going on, I have my 4 terabyte hard drive. I can just unplug it and go. I also upload it to the cloud. Just if you're spending all this time on scanning, or if you're sending it out to be paid to be scanned, you really want to make sure that you're backed up there. I know I probably don't need to go over the MyHeritage photo tools, but I just want to point out, here's an example. This is a second great uncle, Robert Austin. He was served in World War I on the US side, and this is his Navy photo. And so what I did, this is before the enhancement tool came out. So I was only working with colorized, and I'm showing the comparison here, and it really brought it to life. Tragically, he died, I think, about 4 years later, rescuing a child from Long Beach in Long Island. And so that's part of the story that I've written about him, but it helps to have that colorized photo. So again, those two tools, they really make a difference. If you haven't tried them yet, I urge you to try them. Also, this is the time you want to do it because we've got that free period through September 9th to do that. Now, the photo enhancer, you remember what it's going to do. It's going to sharpen the focus, and it works with an algorithm. You can always decide, hey, I don't want to use this photo, and there's a way for you to delete the enhanced photo off of MyHeritage. In fact, if you even wanted to, I don't know why you would want to, you can delete what you upload to MyHeritage once you've run the tools. I don't like that. I like adding it to my collection. And then MyHeritage in color. It will colorize your black and white family photos automatically. It's amazing. But also, when it first came out, there weren't these adjustment tools. Now you have adjustment tools where you can actually manually change some of the colorization. The other thing that's really important I want you to understand is you are not tampering with the original scanned photo. A lot of people say, oh, it's going to ruin my photo. No, you should wind up with actually four different photos: the original, the enhanced, the colorized, and then there's also always a comparison. And you can actually decide what to use, download them, etc. But pick the one that you want before you get started on your photo project. Now this is the fun part. And I had fun putting this together as well. We're going to create items using family photos. Here in the US today, it's National Thrift Shop Day. And thrift stores and shops have become very popular during the pandemic. I know that we just actually went through the whole condo here in Chicago, got rid of a lot of stuff and donated it to our favorite charities, thrift shop. But I always love thrift stores because it's a nice way to find things to add to photos. They call it here upcycling, not recycling, upcycling. And so I've learned that term, and I like it, and I've done it before. So here, family photo displays. What I want to point out is don't go for the traditional. This one, I love this because the wood frames are thick and the openings are relatively small, but they decided to arrange them in such a way where it wasn't just your standard. I can tell you this is also much more easier to measure. I remember when I've done photos that are spaced evenly apart, it just takes a lot of work. So consider something like this. These look like frames that someone may have refinished. They may have gotten them from the thrift store. They don't all have to be the same, but many of these are very similar. This one, it's a little bit out of focus. I guess they call these floating invisible shelves. These are readily available in most places here in the US, craft stores, furniture stores, home improvement stores. You can order them on Amazon. But it's a nice way for you to be able to arrange these and in an entryway, maybe in your office or something like that. But I also like the fact that these are different types of frames. They don't necessarily tell the full story, but it's a good conversation starter. Love, love, love this. Basically, these are the printed photos, printed from a home printer. But the woman used copper binder clips. These are binder clips, and I have the standard black ones. And basically what you're doing is you're just using it as a little frame like that to hold those. So you can go with colorized. This is nice because it can be on your office bookcase. You can change it as a gallery display whenever you want to. And it just has a nice, clean look to it. So think about that. It doesn't have to be anything complicated. These are fairly easy to order. Or if you want the traditional black and chrome, you can do that as well. Here's another variation. This reminds me of the old letterboards. If you've ever seen still lifes from the Dutch artists, And I also think there's one here in the US. Basically, it's ribbons across the board. There are old letters, there are photos, there's maybe a feather. It's amazing. And this reminds me of that. If you look up here, it's got this little live air plant hanging in a little hanger. And this looks like it might be mounted. I'm not sure how it's mounted up here, but they chose gold binder clips to match. They didn't fill in every square, and there's a variety of photos. And again, this is something that you can change constantly, every week, every month. I found this, and this is amazing. Chalkboard paint. It is a paint that you can buy that will turn a surface into a chalkboard, where you can actually use chalk, and you've seen it in restaurants, coffee shops, where they have today's menu. Well, this person did this, is they just had these photos here, and here they started to just, tell the story. This is who this is how they're related, this is what this event was. I think this is a great way to do it. So again, many of these projects, I have the resources in the handout at the end, but also your best place for inspiration is Pinterest. I don't know about you, but my family thinks I need a Pintervention. But again, that's where many of these projects can be found. This one, the woman has created one, and I have a link to her project. She basically took the chalkboard concept, but painted a piece of artist board and framed it. And then what she did is she went in and she made notes and hand-drawn arrows, and it's her own handwriting. And I think this is really, really neat. Of course, she's working with copies, okay? She either had these printed out, or she printed them out herself, or she took them to a place that does photos, because you never want to work with the original to do something like this. This one I like as well. This is as simple as a twig, getting a tree branch, and then these were most likely printed and then mounted on cardboard-like tags. These are very easy to do. It doesn't take a lot. Not a lot. All of these projects should not need a lot of supplies, and I like the look of that. And you can mount it in a shadow box, probably with some glass, or just leave it as a free display. This one I really like, and I have made one of these before and given it away as a gift. This is a picture frame memory wreath. So basically there's a project in the resource list, and rather than putting just loose photos, you take a wire frame or grapevine wreath, which you can buy at a hobby store. I've actually made my own grapevine wreaths. They're fairly easy to do. A twig wreath, you can make that. And then what you do is you mount all the photos there, probably with wire in this case. I don't think a hot glue gun would really work. And then the important part is to have some type of embellishment. I like the contrast of the burlap up here, being very country and homey. And then here we have these elegant silver frames, and I think that really is a nice juxtaposition of that. This one I saw and I thought, what a neat idea, a pie pan or a cake pan photo frame. These look like these are the pie pans for quiche and other tarts that you push the bottom out of. So what they've done is they've printed photos and then mounted them on that and put it on the wall like this. I think this is a great way to display, especially if you had someone that was a great cook or loved to cook. Also, a variation is to take and these are probably fairly small, but this is a recipe in someone's handwriting. I have my mother's recipes in her handwriting. I would love to do something like this. I could see putting the recipe card down below and then her photo up above, because she was always cooking and making something. This is the one that started the conversation this morning. Yes, it is the photo display. I believe this was taken in a store, but this is pretty amazing. It is a wire dress form. Some of them are decorative. You could probably work with a full dressmaker's mannequin as well if you wanted to. I like that there's a contrast here with belt going this way, necklaces, costume jewelry going this way, and then the photos are just laid out here. Now, to me, these look like these are original photos. I don't know. I personally wouldn't do that. But I like the fact that some of them curl. And so if you are printing these yourself or having them printed, you may have to decide how you want the effect. But I think it's kind of fun. It's unique. I already have one person that's going to start this project. Here's another similar one. This woman was showing this as an event, and you can see how these are newer photos here. So it looks like she printed them off herself. This again is that wire dress form. You can see it's covered here, and again, embellishment up here, but I think this is really a neat way to do that. Family photo blocks. What we're talking about are wooden blocks that you can actually arrange. These have become very popular. I know services that will do this for you. I don't know why you can't do it yourself. I mean, take some scrap wood, sand it down, paint it, and then take your photos. You could do something, there's some mediums like Mod Podge in that you brush on that puts a very light finish on it. But this way you can customize it. I like the fact that they spelled out LOVE here. And again, this is just something fun for the desk, for the kitchen counter. It's a really nice project. And again, here's another one as well. There are many projects out there that show you how to do this. This one is interesting because they're mounted on these little wires. Again, different ways to get creative. Bunting. Well, I didn't know what a bunting was. I would call them banners or pennant flags, but this is what we're talking about. So basically, the person printed these out and cut them in triangular shapes, probably on a sturdier paper. This is something that maybe your printer can't do, that you might have to take to a service. But I love the way I believe they actually hand stitch this, and it just hangs up on a wall, and it's a great effect. It really is. And here's something similar. Plain old clothespins. This looks like it's a window, probably that was salvaged. They put some coat hooks on it. And all it is simply just, putting these up on the string. You've seen these before. I've seen them with lights, long strings with maybe 30, 40 photographs as well for parties and anniversaries and events. Again, this one, it's a little pixelated, but this is similar. This is very simple in a frame, and it's open. This does not have glass on it. And it's a matter of running parallel lines, using mini clips. These are mini clothespins, and then putting the photos where you want them. Oops, I think I got them. There we go. This one was odd. But now I thought it was odd, and then I looked at these and I thought, no, these aren't odd, these are ingenious. Because when I cleaned out my mother's house, there were a lot of things besides photos and documents. There were all these things: costume jewelry, purses, glasses. So what do you think of this? This is it's absolutely stunning. Obviously these are little locket frames. You can get these, and then it's just chained together. You could probably have someone do this for you if you're not handy with some of the tools, but it is fairly simple to do, and I just think it's a great look. Old watches. I was sitting on quite a bit in terms of old watches, and I thought, when I saw this, I thought, this is perfect. You can wear this as a bracelet to honor an ancestor. Just put their photo right there, and you can put it over the watch. The watch works. Sometimes you can take it out. It depends. You've got to be handy with just getting in there and putting the photo in there. One of my faves. Imagine this old set of glasses, and I'm imagining the story here. Maybe it's this woman's wedding, and she went to Paris for her honeymoon, or maybe they met in Paris. But what a great way to have this keepsake and just sit it there on a table with other items. So again, really creative, and again, print it out and then just mount it on the eyeglasses. More creativity. These are called purse forms. Probably about 1900, 1910. I have a few of them that my great grandmother made as a teenager, and these forms were sold, and then you would crochet or do something and make your own purse or evening bag. So the person has taken these purse forms and actually put them on the CDV Cardivus type photos. Again, I'm going to print my own photos. I'm not going to tamper the original. I love some of the embellishments that are included here as well. A little bit of doily here and down here. This one has a little bit of costume jewelry. Really nice look to them. What do you do with slides and film, negatives, home movies? What do you do once you've digitized that? Are you going to keep those slides? I'm not going to keep them. Well, you could do something like this. I think this is really neat. So basically what you're doing is you're replacing the lampshade. There are various ways to do this. It's not very easy to get it all to line up. This one is pretty good. You'll see this one, it's a little bit rough around the edges. But what they did was ingenious. They had this frame for the shade already. So what they did is they used a hole puncher with wires, and they put these together. And then when you turn the light on, you can actually see the slides. Family photo jars are a great way for you to combine photos with items, either found items that you're going to use at the thrift store, or maybe personal effects, as we said, eyeglasses, something related to their hobby or to their career. So it's a nice way to put everything together. So here's an example. So you've got a photo here. It looks like it might be from an old Brownie camera, but I bet that the person printed this out and used special crimping scissors. But you know what? I could also put in here, let's say it's this young girl. This is the jar that we're doing for her and for her life story. We could put in a class ring, we could put in eyeglasses, a favorite poem, anything that goes in there that you remember that person by. So these are mason jars. These are canning jars. You can use a variety of different items. Here's another one. So the person actually took old bottles, put some rope, probably with glue around there. But we're talking about found items, not spending a lot of money for these types of things, and they make really great gifts. And finally, family photo storytelling. And what is that all about? Well, I love this one because I always laugh when I see it. But there's got to be a meaning to this, why this person created it. But this is where you really get to combine different things, photos, words, found objects, and then try and tell a story. So here's another example. Oops, there we go. This is an Altoid tin. If you know the Altoids, the mints, this is basically a mint or a candy tin that the person decided, okay, I'm going to do the photo, I'm going to print it, I'm going to colorize it, I'm going to print it out and then cut it out. I'm going to put seashells, I'm going to put an old postcard scene here, a piece of jewelry my aunt used to wear, and then it's just a little story that you just open up. Kids love these. This is a great way to teach kids family history about a certain person or a certain event. Here again, what are you going to do with old doilies, old crochet work that maybe you've inherited that you don't use? I know it's not trendy now to have them on sofas and chairs, but this is one way to do it. What I would do is I would use ironing starch to get this really stiff. You can also use spray starch to stiffen that up and then put in the photo right there. Ingenious use of mirrors and trays and plates, and then just put them up on the wall. So I thought this was a great way to do this. I love this. Notice that I think all the photos are sepia toned, and that contrasts with that silver. That really is what looks good. I would never do gold mirrors and everything with sepia because it would just all blend in. I think this is a perfect look. What about the guys? Look at this shadow box. This isn't even a shadow box. It was covered in burlap, and then basically these things were mounted probably with mounting pins. There's a plumb line. There's a not tape measure, the measuring stick that folded up. I know all these tools because my grandfather had them. And then the person's photo in the middle. And you could always write something on the back, etc. But I think this is a great way to do it. And similarly for women, old gloves. Old purse. It's probably used one of those old purse forms. That's that size. Costume jewelry, doilies. This has it all. Now this looks like it's more of a memory box, meaning that's going to be a little bit inset because there's got to be room between the frame glass and the actual items. Then finally, there's one artist that basically took family photos and was kind of upfront in her stories, and it's kind of tragic. But what she opted to do was she printed these out in different fonts, and they almost look like ransom notes. But again, folks, it's that contrast. That is really what catches the eye. Is here we have elegant burlwood frame, marble on the mat, and we have an old photo, and then we're adding this ransom note type of message. The other one is, I love this one, fought for the right to vote. And I could see doing that with some of my female ancestors is putting that right up there. First in my family to immigrate to America. What a great photo. Okay, and they got really creative here. It looks like this may have been cut out from a magazine, or that they scanned it and actually printed this out. Look at the different font sizes. Just don't use all the same font styles. I mean, this is what really makes this engaging. And then I love this one, left at the altar. Kind of brutal, right? But, you know, maybe she went on to bigger and better things. I don't know. There's got to be more of a story here. But I thought this is great. And notice how it's a frame, sort of within a frame within a frame. In fact, I think we've got what? One, the black outer, 1, 2, 3, and then technically 4. So that's really kind of amazing. I do want to let you know you can always ask me a question. We are going to take questions in a minute. And don't forget, there's a drawing. There's a raffle today for a free MyHeritage Complete Plan. But you can always email me at highdefgen@gmail.com. Also, a little bit more about me. This is what I do for a living. I teach online. I teach maybe 20, 30 times a month, different types of genealogy, strategy, methodology, research. And also, I would love it if you want to check out more free genealogy stuff. I have handouts, downloads, videos over at my site, Genealogy Bargains. I am done sharing my slides, Esther. Do you think it's time for questions?
Yes, yes, it is. Thank you, Thomas. Before we get to questions, I want to hear which one was your favorite.
My favorite are the eyeglasses. They really are. Yeah. I don't know. What was your favorite?
I love the necklace. I think that's so,
yeah,
so touching. And you really, you hold your ancestors close when you do that.
Yeah, it is. And you know, you could start simple with like 3 or 4, but I just love, it was just sweeping. It was really amazing. Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. So it looks like you have a big fan club in the audience. We had Sandra wrote, Thomas is a rock star. And Patricia wrote, love Thomas MacEntee. So a lot of love coming from the audience today. I'll read a couple other nice comments before we get to the questions.
All right.
Melanie said, love MyHeritage, so user-friendly. So thank you for sharing that, Melanie. So nice to hear. Susan said, I use the photo color enhancer for hundreds of photos, some 100 years old. That is incredible. And Susan and everyone else out there, there were a lot of comments from the audience about colorizing and enhancing photos. So don't forget to enter our competition. Once you have done that, share them online on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and use the hashtag enhanced and colorized. One word, enhanced and colorized. And you'll have a chance to win one of 3 complete plans. We'll be giving away 1 today, but in the enhanced and colorized competition, we'll be giving away 3. So a great chance for you to win there. Yeah. Shelly says, I love crafts, but I'm not crafty. Very excited to learn some new techniques.
And these are simple, Esther, too. These are simple. They don't require a lot of skills. I think the necklace you like probably is the most elaborate, you know, but really, and these are, I wanted to keep it low cost and things that you can find in thrift stores and easy to find things.
Fantastic. We can get to some questions. Let's see. The same Shelley, I believe, she asked, in general, is the scanner app that comes on the iPhone sufficient for scanning in photos?
Well, there are many different scanner apps, and there's a base app there. I also use one called Google Scan, Photo Scan. They have their own app. And the nice thing is you can take it in sections, and it will stitch together the parts. So if you have a large panoramic photo, this is the only problem I have with scanning apps on a handheld device. as I get older, I have tremors and my hand tends to shake, and it's just not going to be the most stable. That's my concern. Sometimes when I'm out at an archive or that, I don't have a choice. I can't bring a scanner with me, but I'm always going to prefer a flatbed scanner because I think it gives the best quality scan. I really do. That's a great question.
Okay, Charles says, I have a picture of my paternal great-grandfather that has a strong crease in the center. The photo is precious as it was taken at a photo studio circa 1909. I would like to fix the pick up. Any tips? And I'm guessing that's a common issue, creases in photos.
It is. Oh, it is. It is. And this is also why we should start looking at our collections sooner rather than later, because, you know, if it's a box with things piled on top, yes, it's going to get further creased. Did you know, Esther, that slides and negatives are made out of different materials, and sometimes they can cause chemical reactions with each other and fade and everything. So there are two things here with Charles's question. Does he want the original restored, or does he want to take the crease out of the scanned? Now, for the original, you've got to go to a photo conservator. Probably it would cost, I would say, somewhere between $50 and $100. But I would start going to a local photo shop. It's not something I would want to send in the mail, but do a little bit of research. If you really have to have the original restored, don't try it at home. Don't do it yourself. There's really no way that I would attempt it on a photo that's 11 years old. On the scan, now MyHeritage doesn't have the photo tools yet to do this, but I would look at some of the things like Adobe Photoshop. Look at some of the free tools out there. Just be careful on some of the sites, Esther, that ask you to upload the photo and then you fix it, and then they send you the photo via email. You should know, what are they doing with the photo you upload? Is it going to a stock photo library? See what I'm saying? So a lot of these sites will say, hey, we have free tools to fix your photos. Always investigate the terms and conditions of what they're doing with what you upload.
Great advice. Elaine says, I've never scanned anything. Where do you find the DPI settings?
Okay, usually for me, what it is now everything, I don't know how old your scanner is, but usually it would be in the software, and you go to the settings. Most scanners now, I don't want to say most, I just bought a new scanner, and guess what? It was using 200 DPI was the default, and I was really surprised. So I reset the default to 600. So it would be in the software that either came with your scanner. You know, the trick that I do, Esther, now is a lot of places don't even send out manuals. I just go on Google and I'll say Brother Scanner, that's the company of the scanner, and the model number, and I'll say manual, and then I can find the manual, and I do everything online. I just don't use paper manuals anymore, and most places don't send them out.
We have a question here from Lori. She says, when you do the colorization on an old black and white photo on MyHeritage, do they use the right colors for the clothing from the time period?
Oh, that's difficult. Yeah, they try. You know, this is part of what it is if you look closely at the bottom on the screen, this is licensed technology through a third party. So that's their proprietary knowledge, is how they build these color palettes. What's nice now is, and I do know from talking to my relatives that colors were a little bit more muted and dull, but it wasn't as dull as we think it is. So now the nice thing with the colorization is I can actually do the manual colorization and make the adjustments. So if I know for a fact that dress was bluer than it was in the photo, based on what so-and-so said or what there's a written letter, then go ahead and do that. So I don't know what the exact is, but they've got to have a color palette, and it's all an algorithm. So basically they'd be looking at a dress, and in 1910, most likely what would the color be? And I'm sure they have all that information.
Okay, before we get to the next question, Sherry asks, I missed the beginning. Will I be able to see it again? So just a reminder for everyone, this Facebook Live, as well as all of our Facebook Lives, are available on the MyHeritage Facebook page under the videos section. You can rewatch this many times. I'm sure I will, because I love those craft ideas. I'll have to go back and visit them. as well as all of our other Facebook Lives. They're all stored there. So so if you missed any of it, nothing to worry about, Sherry. Now for another question from Chandra. She says, those tiny photos from the 1960s, is there a way to get those pictures bigger? Apparently back then, if you bought photos, you would get 2 big ones and then they would give you small ones. By small, I mean 10 centimeters all around.
Yes.
Is there something I can do to get them bigger?
That's a little bit difficult. Now, more and more scanners are coming with software. My new scanner came, or even my new computer came with new scanning software for me to try out by Abby, A-B-B-Y. And so look at the scanning software that came with your scanner and see if there's an enlargement section. So I know that I can do enlargements, and it's actually on the panel of my scanner. The better scanners will have that, even the better all-in-one printers. I think the technology is there where you should be able to do it yourself, because it can get very expensive to take it to a Photoshop and have them enlarge it. So I would try looking at your scanning software to begin with.
Okay, and we have one last question before we get to today's draw. This one is from Marie, and she asks, we have over 10,000 photos. First of all, that's such a treasure, Marie, so you're very lucky to have that many photos from your family. And she asks, is there an automatic feed scanner that you would recommend?
Okay, so it depends on what the photos are and when they're from. If these are the standard 4x6 inch color photos that, you know, everyone got in the 80s and 90s and 2000s when you had photos still printed, Epson does have one. It has a fast feed scanner. In fact, Fujitsu has one that I'm about to review called a Snap Scan, and basically you can just feed them through. I would never, like that photo that I showed you from 1949 of my mother with all her siblings and her mother, I would never put that through an automatic feeder. I mean, with my luck, it's going to tear, it's going to get caught. So I'm very against automatic feeders for most photos. But if you do have a set, and if a lot of those photos were typical same size, I think that you can use one of those two. They are kind of on the high end. They're running like $300, $400, $500. So you have to weigh that decision. Maybe it's more effective at maybe 10 cents a photo to take 1,000 photos in and have them scanned. And that would only be what, $100. And versus spending all this on maybe a scanner that you're never going to use again. I hope that answers that.
Yeah, great answer. Debbie says, Thomas always inspires me to do more with my genealogy. So I really hope that today's talk has inspired all of our viewers. I'm sure it has some fantastic ideas. I'm really excited to get some of those up around my house.
Yes. And start now. Don't put it off. Start now.
Exactly, especially for gifts. It's great to start putting the wheels in motion to start thinking about the holidays. So thank you so much for that. And now we'll just be choosing our winner. So the winner of today's complete plan, and the complete plan will give our winner free, complete, unlimited access for a year to MyHeritage photo tools. That's the enhancer and in color that we've talked about today, as well as unlimited family tree size and access to all of our 12.5 billion historical records. So it's a fantastic prize that we have today. For everyone else who does not win today, because we can't choose everyone in the audience, there is, as I said, the offer for free photo enhancer and MyHeritage in color, and that is going until September 10th. So you all have the opportunity to use it from now until then, and to enter our enhanced and colorized competition. So please do. And the winner of today's complete plan is Winnipeg Wendy. And Wendy said, my grandpa was an amateur photographer with his own makeshift darkroom, even back in World War I, serving in Halifax, Nova Scotia for the Canadian Navy. I'm excited to get to work colorizing his World War I album, including the times before and after the 1917 Halifax explosion.
Oh, yeah. Wow,
so congratulations, Winnipeg Wendy. And we'll be in touch with you by direct message to claim your prize. And thank you all for joining us today. We had such a great time. Thomas, it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
I appreciate it. All right, take care, everyone.
Thank you so much, and we hope to see you again soon. So bye, everybody.
Bye.